make sure they hear us.
All right, everybody. I'll turn it. Welcome to the third episode of New Jersey Porch Trivia. I've gotten a few questions over the last few minutes. Obviously, people don't know me that well, and I don't know about you, Ed, but
Trust me, I know you well.
you think if a little cold and wind is going to stop us from doing the trivia, you are nuts. I can tell you that. So someone chime in that you could hear us. Just someone put a comment in the thing. But I could tell you it's going to take a lot more than Corona, and it's going to take a lot more than wind to stop us from trivia going forward. All right. So I want to first make sure anyone could hear us. Uh, I just want to make sure someone goes on my page. There, it looks cold. All right, Paholski, you're in. It is a little chilly here. So, all right, we're good. So, today we're going to be doing sitcoms. First thing I want to tell you is happy Good Friday to everyone. And about an hour and a half ago, no joke, there was probably about 20 to 30-mile-an-hour winds. My garbage cans here were blowing all over the place. I was even thinking we might have to either postpone trivia or move it to the garage or God forbid, let Ed in my house. But Jesus came and stopped the winds for us. I'll tell you, he should be taking care of Corona instead of our trivia. But somehow, around 7:40, the winds died down. So
We got Tom's Tough Trivia.
we got Tom's
deck.
Tough Trivia. We got a trivia celebrity here today.
The king of trivia.
So we got about 35 questions here. I'm going to give it to Ed in a few seconds. We're going to be spanning about 5 decades. These questions are going to be short and sweet. They're going to be easy. Ed's going to repeat it twice, and then keep track of your answers. Don't put any answers on the chat room. We want to leave the chat room for some friendly banter. And then at the end, we're going to go over the questions again, and then we will give you the answers, and you can put them into the chat room. But don't put the answers in the chat room. Keep track of your score yourself. I personally just took the test yesterday, and I got 21 out of 35. So that's pretty good, I think. And I don't even really watch.
Tom watches like three.
I don't even watch
sitcoms.
sitcoms. So we're gonna start right now. This is basically Ed. You're almost ready.
Yeah.
So this is how we're gonna do it, because we're doing this Corona style, 6 feet away. When I'm talking, I'm gonna do this, and then when Ed's up, I'm gonna shift to Ed.
Guys.
So Ed, you're up.
Okay.
So
we're gonna start in the 1950s. This is going to be through the decades. I'm going to do all different TV shows. And yes, that is a total suspension
that's
hat.
I wore this hat for them, and I expect some proceeds for
I told Ron I'm in the middle where I'm going to take a break for our sponsor, and he could do a commercial for total suspension.
No, put in the chat. The reason we can't do the answers in the chat, I'm going to tell you right now, is there's a delay here. Someone might get the questions quicker than others. We're kind of figuring this out. Just leave the chat for banter. Make fun of Ed, and we'll talk at the end with the answers. All right?
And we don't need masks, Jim.
No masks.
No masks.
Only you wear masks, Jim.
Okay. Question number 1. On I Love Lucy, what was the name of the nightclub that Ricky Ricardo worked at? On I Love Lucy, and I'm sure everybody has seen at least one episode of I Love Lucy. What was the name of the nightclub that Ricky Ricardo worked at?
Now, here's the thing. We're starting at the earlier ones, and then we're going to go more recent. So we're starting in the 50s and 60s, and then we're going to go up to the more recent sitcoms. All right.
There's a story behind Ron having this hat, by the way, and maybe we'll go into it if we have time.
Yeah.
But okay, question number 2: what real life actor was famous for saying "Good night, Gracie" at the end of each episode of his TV series? What actor, what real life actor, was famous for saying "Say goodnight, Gracie" at the end of each episode of his TV series? It's an actor that you all should pretty much know. You'll hear the hat story. Hang on, Kat.
The hat story quickly is we were at a minor league baseball game. It was the Lakewood Blue Claws, and it was about 70 degrees out, and then the wind came in and it went down to like 40 degrees, and Ed went to his car.
It was
And
Joe who went to.
Joe, oh yeah, Joe was
It
with
was
us,
me, Ron, Chris Muse, and Joe
and he
Barbari.
ran and got this hat. So I owe him. I would have had hypothermia if it wasn't for
So
Joe.
anybody who needs tractor trailer repair, go to Total Suspension.
And June, leave your answers. Keep your answers to yourself.
Okay.
Number 3.
Question number 3. Played by Joyce Randolph. What was Ed Norton's wife's slightly unusual name on The Honeymooners?
My favorite Honeymooners episode is
Chef
Chef
of
of
the
the
Future.
Future. I love that show. I mean, that is the number one. Uh, uh, the thing about the Honeymooners I always found interesting. It's really the whole episode, the whole series is on like in one room.
Yes,
You
it's
know?
like watching a play.
Yeah, it's all one room. It's pretty interesting.
And my favorite is when he goes on the game show, the $99,000 answer, something like
Hey,
that.
Tom's Tough Trivia. I don't think you're gonna find anyone undressing in that window. That's pretty funny.
Sounds
I
like
see.
something from the Brady Bunch movie.
I see a bright light though. I might have to tell them to
If you
shut their
see a
lights
naked
off.
woman walking through, we have no control over that. Okay, Lumpy, Whitey, and Larry Mondello were all neighborhood kids on what TV series in the late 50s and 60s? Lumpy, Whitey, and Larry Mondello were all neighborhood kids and they were all characters on what TV series in the late 50s and 60s?
Hey, June, we're going to go through the questions again at the end when we give the answers. So if you missed one, don't worry about it. And remember, this is not this is a PG-13 trivia here. This is really not for kids.
Gino, I
You
don't know
know,
if there's really going to be any clues dropped in these.
no
These are
clues.
kind of short and sweet. We have an hour to get through everything. So,
It's going to get easier. We're at the older ones here. You're going to get into more recent.
okay, well, we're segueing into the 60s now. So I'm going to go with what TV show used a song called The Fishing Hole as its theme? What TV show used a song called The Fishing Hole as its theme? And I think you told me you never saw the show.
I don't think I did. I don't know the 50s and 60s. I pretty much swept the 70s, 80s, and 90s, but
And what's your language, Jim? Okay, the Flintstones had Dino the dinosaur as a pet. What was the neighbors, the Rubbles' pet?
that's a good one.
It is a good one. The Flintstones had Dino the dinosaur as a pet, but what was the neighbors, the Rubbles, Barney and Betty Rubbles' pet's name?
My favorite Flintstones, we were talking about it, was when
The Way Outs?
not the Way Outs, the one where uh, they mixed up the bachelor party
Oh
and the
yes, the
kids' birthday
dancing girls
party.
to the
So
kids
they sent
party.
the dancing girls to the kids'
They were
party,
Rockettes.
and then they sent the clown Rocco the clown to the bachelor party. That was probably my
The kids were
funniest
playing
one. Yeah,
poker.
actually, the Honeymooners and the Flintstones are pretty much the same show.
Basically the same show.
So, all right, there you go. I'm turning you.
Okay, what sitcom family lived on Cemetery Lane? What sitcom family lived on Cemetery Lane?
This is probably a 50-50 one. I saw Jessica was on. What's up with
Jessica's
that?
on.
Jessica's on.
Hey,
Holy crap.
Jess. Shout out for Jess.
I'm glad we're able to fit you in your schedule this week.
She's not asleep.
No.
And not out on a date.
Sandy. What's a Sandy question mark? I don't know. Hey guys, keep doing the banter. We like it. Who could initiate who Barney's laugh? I can't do that.
What we got there?
Who the hell is
Colette.
Colette? Sorry. You're up.
Okay. Um, what two characters' names were left out of the original theme song of Gilligan's Island during the show's first season? If you remember the song to Gilligan's Island, the first season of it, they had a different song, different singers doing it, and it was the same song, but there was the change in it was that two of the characters' names were not mentioned at the end or at the end of the song.
Yeah.
Okay, next
Good
one.
question.
Played by Larry Hagman, what was astronaut Anthony Nelson's rank on I Dream of Jeannie when it debuted in 1965? He was played by Larry Hagman, but what was astronaut Anthony Nelson's rank on I Dream of Jeannie when it debuted in 1965?
That's a good question.
Anybody there not know I Dream of Jeannie?
I always mix up I Dream of Jeannie and Bewitched.
They're similar shows.
They're similar shows, same time, I think. These are all Jim Logan's era. Jim, you should know this.
Jim knows before TV. Okay, we're going to go into this 1970s, guys. And we're moving pretty quickly here, aren't we? And Carol DeVoe put in an answer, but Carol, don't put in your answers.
Yeah,
Hold off, write them down, and then I'll grade them. You can grade them yourself as I give the answers out at the end.
Carol, you get one warning here. That's it.
Ron will expel you.
And will I like it? Will I enjoy it?
Immensely. That's Firehouse Pub trivia comedy. Okay, 1970s. What TV series had an opening narration that asked the question, can two divorced men share an apartment without driving each other crazy?
This is one of my favorites.
I like how Tom's Tough Trivia throws in some facts as we're going.
For some strange. I dealt blackjack to Larry Hagman. Harris. That's good.
Really?
I guess you
Harris,
play.
cool.
Was it? Was he? Was he in character of like J.R. Ewing when you did this? Or was
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's Harris isn't an old guy. It has to be fairly fairly recent. Larry Hagman's dead, isn't he?
Yeah, a while ago. He had like
Yeah.
cancer, liver cancer or something.
Do you guys know the answer? I know all the answers. I made up the questions. I know everything, Scott. Okay. Now 97 years old. Who was the creative genius behind such 70 shows as The Jeffersons, Sanford and Son, Good Times, and One Day at a Time? Now 97 years old. Who was the creative genius behind such shows as the 70 shows as The Jeffersons, Sanford and Son, Good Times, and One Day at a Time? And you knew this one.
I knew this one. Actually, just did. They're replaying some of his shows.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really did enjoy the replays of some of his shows on TV.
Okay, this is probably one of the harder questions on it. What was the call letters of the TV station in Minneapolis on the Mary Tyler Moore Show?
Hey, Tom's Tough Trivia. You should do this now. I think we're doing.
Wednesday night. You're not at the loft anymore, Tom. Do this. We'll tune in.
You know, we're doing Friday nights. Frank, who's on here, is doing music trivia. If you want to go do music trivia tomorrow at 7,
Tomorrow at 7,
friend Frank,
Frank
uh,
Todd listeners or
or
something like
Frank
that.
Glaz, GLA. Or let's look at my page and look for Frank. He's doing his trivia. Tom's Tough Trivia. You should do one as well. The
Should
library at East Brunswick does a terrible trivia. The East Brunswick Recreation Department. It's not even trivia.
Carol, all you have to do is either come up with your own answer, you can write it down, you can keep it in your mind, whatever you do, and then you just keep track of how many you got right. I can't collect sheets and grade them here, so we're talking about 100 people
So they're
watching us.
replying to. At the end, we'll replay what you missed.
Okay, moving on. What classic rock and roll song was used as the theme song during the first 2 years of Happy Days? What classic rock and roll song was used as the theme song during the first 2 years of Happy Days?
I got two Happy Days questions that you could put in, and you could actually put this in the chat room. I don't care because they don't count. One, why do they call Happy Days? Was there was a it was coined jumping the shark? Why did they coin the phrase jumping the shark? That's one.
I know it.
And the second one is which pop star played Fonzie's girlfriend's younger sister? Two questions. You could throw those two in the chat room.
And she's not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and she's pissed that she's not in the Rock and
Oh,
Roll Hall
she
of Fame.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually saw last night. Speaking of Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I've been bored out of my mind. I saw The Runaways
Oh,
on
really?
H on Netflix. I liked it. I give it 3 stars. If you want to see a good show, 3 stars. Go see The Runaways on TV on Netflix. It's pretty good. All right.
Okay. Last question for
Jump
this.
the shark. Samson got it. That's it. Fonz jumping the shark. Where they literally, that's why they call the frame jumping the shark. He actually was on like a power boat. He literally jumped the shark. And who was the friend of Susie Quattro,
There you go.
Catherine Alice? There you
Play
go.
leather Tuscadera.
Pinky's sister. Hey, you're coughing.
I
What is
know.
this? Hey,
What was the name of the cab company on the show Taxi?
more banter here. My favorite episode of all time with Taxi in any show is when Jim Ignatowski went for his driving exam. That is the best comedy of all time. You know, that character might be the funniest of all time.
That was a good character, and that was a good scene. My favorite part of that was, and I've told you this before, was where they ask him about the drug addiction or the mental illness, and he says, "Boy, that's a tough choice."
Yeah. What color is your eyes? He's like
You want
filling
to
out.
take a shot at
He's
this?
filling out the application, and they're like, "All right, you ready for the test?" And he goes, "Well, I thought that was the test."
Okay, moving into the 1980s. What 1980, the 87 TV series starred a cartoonist named Henry Rush, who used a hand puppet called Cosmic Cow. What 1980, the 87 TV series starred a cartoonist named Henry Rush, who used a hand puppet called Cosmic Cow.
And I also got some hand sanitizer here. Ed's coughing here, so I'm gonna have to wipe down
I'm
this.
turning my head and I'm coughing into my
I'm gonna
sleeve.
have to like wipe down this
And
keyboard.
now we're losing everything.
Hold on. Here we go.
My throat is flaking up.
What is up? Stop coughing. All right.
If I could, I would. Okay. What movie series was based on a short lived 1982 sitcom called Police Squad? What movie series was based on a short lived 1982 sitcom called Police Squad? And you like these movies?
Yes. I'm trying to read the questions here. What number is this? The taxi question. I don't know the
I
numbers.
I don't know the numbers either. I don't
We're
have
gonna
a number.
replay this. Just enjoy it. Uh, Great show, Calcao. Yeah. Hey Pete, how's it going? We used to work to Pete Calcao and I used to work with Ed and I back in City Street. Glad you could join. Hey Gene, how's it going? I don't know what buzz means, but guys, keep the banter up. That's what this is for. We want the chat room.
No
Keep,
slippery Pete this week, I
I
guess.
guess.
Slippery Pete, if you're out there, say hi. He's got more important things to do. Okay. This show's final episode was entitled Goodbye, Farewell, Amen. I want the name of the show.
And
This show's final episode was entitled Goodbye, Farewell, Amen.
Dan, you have the wrong show. Surely you must be joking. That's Airplane. That's you have the wrong show. So
We got a hi from Catherine Alice.
all right, Tom's Tough Trivia is keeping track.
Well, he's got everyone right, so it's
Yeah.
easy.
Do you like movies about gladiators? Have you ever seen a grown man naked?
Okay, next question. This TV show was the reversal of the generation gap, with former hippie parents raising conservative children in the 1980s. I want the name of the show. This TV show was a reversal of the generation gap, with former hippie parents raising conservative children in the 1980s.
Good show.
It was a decent
Good
show.
show. It's a good show.
I still see it from time to time on Antenna TV or something like that.
Yeah.
Next question. What city and state did the Golden Girls take place in? What city and state did the Golden Girls take place in? Oh, Harris wants more banter from us.
More banter? We'll give you banter.
Well, you want banter? You're going to get banter, Harris.
We're going to give more banter when we give the answers.
When we're giving the answers.
You know, I don't want to give these questions away.
So far, it's a great show.
I'll give you some banter, actually. So, Frank, this is actually for you. We were given the number for Hamilton Radio.
Oh, yeah.
To try to simulcast this.
We wanted to do it on Hamilton Radio while we're doing it on here.
So we got the phone number for the programming manager for Hamilton Radio,
Gene. Which is your buddy Gene.
Which is internet radio, and we emailed him. We told him we had 300 legions of fans, and they basically blew us off. And we sent them an email and didn't even respond. All he said was not interested. I mean, who the hell does that in the middle of a pandemic?
He asked if we gave out prizes.
He goes, "Do you give out prizes?" We're like, "Well, we really don't. We're doing this more for fun." And he goes, "Not interested." Who the hell does that? Hey, Vince is on. Supply guy. Hey, supply guy.
You're a little late.
You owe Ed an apology. I can tell you that. Yeah, actually, it would be a good trivia.
Actually, I've heard about the horror stories of Domino's down in Arizona. I don't want one of those pizzas.
Go ahead.
Okay. Next question. Who sang the theme song to the show Married with Children? Who sang the theme song to the show Married with Children? Very popular singer.
By the way, did anybody here watch the finale for Modern Family?
Now, was that last night?
It was Wednesday.
Wednesday night.
Obviously the guy from Married with Children's on it.
I had it on TV while I was in the house.
Anyone see it? It was not that good.
No.
Hey Vince, an apology for what we'll explain afterwards. Your friends are bashing poor Ed here on Facebook.
Call me a retard.
They called him a retard on Facebook.
And then Supply Guy takes my position.
You know, I know where. I know Ed is not the brightest bulb, the brightest and I guess the sharpest tool in the shed, but to call him a retard is a little overboard.
One just called me ignorant. The other one called me a retard. All right. A Different World was a college set spinoff of what long running sitcom? A Different World, that was the name of the show, was a college set spinoff of what long running sitcom? It sounds like a soap opera, like a daytime soap opera, A Different
I
World.
don't know.
But
I never really watched it. I knew this answer, but I watched it. Uh, I could give a hint on
a
that, but it
couple of
would give
big
it away.
stars came off of this.
Oh yeah.
All right, did we go into the 1990s?
Go to 90s.
Okay, 1990s. What was the last name of the wealthy family that Will Smith goes to live with in California on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air? What was the last name of the wealthy family that Will Smith goes to live with in California on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air?
And Gino, I see no Peter Cetera questions. Maybe I think next week, just to give you a little sneak peek, I think next week's trivia, which I think will be good, it will be famous movie quotes.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, so quotes from movies where we'll say the quote and then you guys guess the movie. So I think you'd like that.
Yeah, we'll do that. We're always looking for ideas to do this. I have a feeling we may be doing this for months. This may be instead of football season, you might be sitting around watching us on.
Maybe we could do this 7 days a week. I think our fans want it.
Let's hear from everybody. Do you want us 7 days a week doing this?
Hey Dan, where is Canto? Come on.
Okay, we're moving into. We're in the 1990s. Let's see. Okay, on two separate episodes of Seinfeld, what two words were used to describe actress Terry Hatcher's breasts? Once by herself and once by another character.
I made Ed change this question,
I
by
had a
the
better
way.
Seinfeld question, and
And
he asked me to change it.
we had and I made him change. It was a boring question. I mean, listen, Seinfeld. Ed and I sit on this porch probably a couple hours a week. Would you say?
Yeah,
And I'd say about 25% of the conversation is about
Seinfeld.
Seinfeld. So we gotta have a good Seinfeld question. But
Okay, on two separate episodes of
hold on.
Seinfeld, what two words were used to describe actress Terry Hatcher's breasts? Once by herself and once by another character. Okay, moving on. What was Frasier's catchphrase while he was on the air with a caller on the show Frasier? What was his catchphrase? And you wouldn't know this because you don't watch Frasier.
Yeah.
I didn't ask you this one, but you wouldn't know it anyway. Jim, quit moving.
I'm moving the computer when Ed and I. Oh, there's a guy in the background walking.
We're gonna have a streaker running down the
I
street.
think I gotta tell our neighbor to shut off her lights. I moved the
They're
computer.
interfering with our fans.
I moved the computer a little today, closer to our door, because we had a little. We had
Third week, and we're in our third position on this porch. The porch is only like 12, 15 feet big, and
we listened to our fans. So the couple pieces of feedback we got was one that I guess things were skipping a little and it wasn't clear. So I moved the computer closer to my door.
it's literally like
We're really right.
half a foot closer.
We're closer to the door where the what do you call it, the server or whatever the thing is. And the other thing is we're trying to keep the questions a little shorter and sweeter.
I wouldn't call Frasier a great show, but it was an okay show.
I never liked Frasier.
There are some episodes that are very funny, but okay.
Murphy signed an executive order. Hey, Jim, don't laugh. That might be next.
Shutting down Porch Trivia. It might happen. Okay. Insomnia Cafe and Six of One were two possible titles of this long-running TV show before they settled on a much simpler title. Insomnia Cafe and Six of One were two possible titles of this long-running TV show before they settled on a much simpler title? Got a Barry Manilow
Where?
quote down here from Dan.
I didn't tear up during Modern Family. It was kind of dumb. But I do tear up when I see Barry Manilow in Week in New England. That's one of my favorite songs.
Sentimental.
You know?
Okay, this show used the songs 5 O'Clock World and Cleveland Rocks as its theme songs during its 9 year run. So the show had two different theme songs. One was called 5 O'Clock World and one was Cleveland Rocks. I want to know the name of the show. Hey, I saw that question somewhere. You must have dreamed it.
It was based on the movie Singles. I don't even know what that means.
Yeah, I told your mom one of these I got off of the Snapple thing, Kat. All right, we're moving into the 2000s. We're already halfway through our show, and we're moving into the 2000s now. What two 80s movie actors were the original two in Two and a Half Men? What two 80s movie actors were the original two in the show Two and a Half Men? I want the actors' names.
Hey, Liz, how's it going? We got another new fan here. Where's Mike? I thought he was on here before. Tom, with or without the wheelchair? I don't even know what that means, Gene. Sorry. I agree, Pete. Just eh. And Gino, no Cobra Kai questions. Part one on two is on tonight if anyone's interested. I'll be honest, I like Karate Kid Part Two.
Really?
Yeah, I like the one where he's in Japan. A little,
My
a
friend
little.
Dan was in that.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. I don't know my friend Sharon. I don't know what
Which
her
one? Two?
and two. She played Miyagi's love interest.
Really?
Yes.
Oh. So she's
And Gino, what was her name? The woman who played Mr. Miyagi's love interest in the second Karate Kid. Let's see if we get an
Glory of
answer.
Love. Actually, that was, I think, in the Karate Kid movie, the second one.
Righteous Brothers Trivia Night. Supply
Yeah.
Guy, that was last night. You missed it. I'm
Yeah.
sorry to tell you. But we are going to do a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame edition first Friday night in May. Okay? Okinawa, isn't that a location?
Shannon Tweed? No.
No.
That was Shannon Tweed is my favorite band, Gene Simmons.
I'll give you this much. Her
Wife.
last name was McCarthy.
I thought she was Japanese.
She is.
Oh.
It's like something,
Jenny
McCarthy.
Jenny McCarthy?
Like that, you know.
All right.
Righteous Brothers might pop up tomorrow night in Frank's trivia. Supply Guy, go on to Frank Todd's listeners' Facebook page, friend him, or like his page, and you can watch his trivia tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. Who played Miley Cyrus's father on Disney's Hannah Montana? Who played Miley Cyrus's father on Disney's Hannah Montana?
And Jim, we put this question on just for you.
Just for you.
Because we knew you're a fan of the Hannah Montana
I
series.
actually watched Hannah Montana.
I don't know if I'd admit to that.
It wasn't a bad show.
Yeah.
It really wasn't. And it was Saturday mornings at like 10:30, 10 o'clock in the morning. I got up and put on the TV, and it was on. And they always replayed like the same like 5 episodes.
Did you watch iCarly too?
I never really watched iCarly. I saw a little bit of The Sweet Life of Zach and Cody.
Yeah.
Yeah, not too good.
Hey, is there going to be any what's that show? Saved by the Bell questions?
No Saved by the Bell tonight.
All right.
Okay, next one. She won Emmys for her work on Seinfeld, the new Adventures of Christine, and Veep. But which one of these three did Julia Louis-Dreyfus win the most awards for? So out of Seinfeld, The New Adventures of Old Christine, or Veep, what show did Julia Louis-Dreyfus win the most Emmy awards for? She's won a lot.
Go ahead.
I'm trying to read some of these quotes here, and okay. And this is for my niece Maria. What decade does the current sitcom The Goldbergs take place in? What decade does the current sitcom The Goldbergs take place in? And you didn't even know there was a show, The Goldbergs.
I don't know. I haven't watched besides Modern Family, a show, a comedy show, probably in like 15 years.
Dan just put on the Elaine Bennis dance, which was the
That's a
little
great,
kicks.
yeah, the little kicks.
Okay. What star of Boston Legal and The Blacklist played Robert California, Steve Carell's replacement for season 8 of The Office? What star of Boston Legal and The Blacklist played Robert California, Steve Carell's replacement for season 8 of The Office? And Catherine, you better know this one. She's the one that won the Office trivia when she went down to that Mellow Mushroom, Tom's River.
Dan, you keep bringing up Philly. You're a Fugazi Philly fan. You've lived in Atlanta for 30 years. I don't want to hear Philly. I'm more Philadelphia than you. I know.
That would have been a good question. I could have asked what city does the Goldbergs take place in?
Maybe I will watch the Goldbergs. I'm desperate for anything right now.
And it has the guy from Curb Your Enthusiasm, the heavy guy,
Yeah, I
the
like
one
him.
that got confused with Harvey
Right,
Weinstein.
yeah.
That was a pretty good scene. Elaine from Pretty in Pink, that is correct, but I do need the actor's name. Don't put it here. Okay, what character from The Big Bang Theory was spun off into his own prequel to the long-running nerdy sitcom? So I want to know the character from The Big Bang Theory that got his own sequel, spin-off. It was a prequel to his life before The Big Bang Theory. What character from The Big Bang Theory was spun off into his own prequel to the long-running nerdy sitcom? Now I have two bonus questions. Should I give them, or do you think
quick.
we have time? Okay, bonus questions here.
You can put them into the thing or no?
What's that?
Can they put it into the chat or no?
You can put these into the chat if you know them. This actor spent 15 straight years on TV from 1978 to 1992 in two different series. One took place in New York and the other in Connecticut. I want the actor's name. This actor spent 15 years on TV from 1978 to 1992 in two different series. One took place in New York and the other in Connecticut.
The hint for this one
I don't know if you should be giving out a
is
hint.
the character's name is the same in both sitcoms.
That is true.
That's a good hint.
And now the bonus one.
These bonus you can put in here, Tom. These don't count. These are just extras.
And Tom, I got this last one from you maybe a year or two ago. You asked it, and I don't know if it's worded exactly how you had it, but the idea is from you. So I am perjuring you, but I'm giving you credit for it, so it's actually not perjury. Okay.
Vince, no answers. No answers on the chat room.
From 1982.
It's not Bob Newhart. Oh, you're answering that one.
And
Yeah.
it's not Gary Coleman either.
It's not. Joanne's got it. Joanne's
Tony
got it.
Danza.
Good job.
It's Tony Danza on Taxi and Who's the Boss?
Tony Maselli.
Yes.
Tony
And
Maselli.
Tony Banta.
All right, give the extra.
Okay, in 1982 and to 1985, this was a character's nickname on a TV sitcom. From 89 to 97, another character from another TV series was called this name as well. In fact, the title of the latter show was both the characters' nicknames. I want to know what the nickname is. Okay? On TV from 1982 to 1985, there was a character with this nickname. Okay? And then from 89 to 97, there was another TV series with a character who had the same nickname. His show, and it is not Supply Guy. I'm sorry, Vince, but it is not Supply Guy. The title of the second show was the nickname of both characters. It's not Frasier. Marty, no. Anybody know this one? Tom, do you know it? You asked it at one time. Not Frasier. Marty just keeps going back to Frasier over and over again.
I think you can get the
Hey,
answer.
Greg got it. It is Coach.
Good job.
It was Coach on Cheers for those 3 years, and then there was the show Coach, and Craig T. Nelson's character was the coach. Okay, I think are we doing banter? We doing?
No, we're 40 minutes in.
Okay, we got to do answers. Here we go. Starting with question number 1. I Love Lucy. Ricky worked at the Tropicana. Tropicana. If you put the Babalu or Club Babalu, you are correct because in the last season they moved to Connecticut. He opened up his own club, and it was called Club Babalu. But I was really looking for Tropicana. Say Goodnight, Gracie. Does anybody know that is George Burns' line from the George Burns Gracie Allen show, his wife? And every episode he would say goodnight, Gracie, and then she would say goodnight, Gracie. Okay. Who played by Joyce Randolph? Trixie was Ed Norton's wife. And Lumpy Whitey and Larry Mondello were all members of Neighborhood Kids on Leave It to Beaver. Anybody get all those right?
Say goodbye, night, Gracie. It's actually getting
That's
warmer
Grace. Okay. Next question. What TV show uses a song called The Fishing Hole as its theme? It was the Andy Griffith Show. If you can imagine Andy Griffith and Opie walking down the street to the whistling with fishing poles in their hand. Okay, this was a tough one. The Flintstones had Dino the dinosaur, but what was the neighbor's, the
now.
Rubble
See if
pet?
anyone gets it. Anyone get this one? This is the
Does
top one.
anybody know this? The Rubble's pet.
We'll see if anyone could get this. I watch the Flintstones still. It's on like the Me Network or something.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
Me channel.
Me
It's
TV.
Me TV.
I'm
So
still waiting to see if anybody
Harvey Weinstein. That's correct.
know what the Rubble's pet's name was. No, it
No,
was
it's
not a
not
saber-tooth
Sabertooth.
tiger. When I tell you, you're probably going to know.
All right, give it.
Okay, it was Hoppy, and it was a hopperoo. It was like a kangaroo type.
Hoppy, Joanne McAvoy got it. Good job. The Great Gazoo.
Okay, Cemetery Lane, the family that lived on Cemetery Lane. That is the Addams family. If you said the Munsters, you're incorrect. The Munsters were on Mockingbird Lane. Amazing that that show, both those shows came out at the same time,
Exactly.
like the same week.
Yeah. Actually, the first Adams Family movie was actually pretty
It
funny.
was all right.
It was okay. Yeah,
It was all
it
right.
was. I enjoyed the Munsters more. I thought it was funny because they didn't take themselves serious. They were kind of like making. It was almost like the Adams Family, but more
The Addams
satire.
Family was a little darker, a little more
Yeah.
serious. Um, okay. What two characters' names were left out of the original theme song of Gilligan's Island? Anybody know? It's the last two names in the song. It's the Professor and Mary Ann. Okay. In the original song, it just says "and the rest." So,
Hey,
um,
which kid when you were like 10 years old? That was always the biggest debate. Who was hotter, Ginger or
Ginger or Mary Ann?
Marianne?
I like Mary Ann
I
better.
was always a Marianne
Yeah,
person too. You know?
she's so cute. Okay. Let's see. Oh, Larry Hagman. Does anybody know this? What was his rank on I Dream of Jeannie? Does anybody know
I think
what?
someone already put that in earlier.
Yeah, but they were wrong.
Oh,
I think they were wrong.
I'll just give it.
Okay. Most people think he was a major, Major Nelson, but it wasn't. He was a captain when the show started.
I couldn't handle it.
Okay. What TV series had an opening narration that says, "Can two divorced men share an apartment without driving each other crazy?" Is there anybody on here that didn't know that that's The Odd Couple?
Hey, here's a side one of the best Odd Couple episodes where they're playing uh password and Felix gives like the craziest clue that gets Oscar all pissed off. You could put it in the chat room. What was the name of what was that clue that uh, Felix gave that pissed off Oscar? It's actually pretty funny.
The guy that he I'll give you a hint. He wrote a play called The Bird.
Yeah.
Yes, and it was Captain Nelson on I Dream of Jeannie. It was not Major Nelson. Everybody's saying Major, but he became a major as the show went on. He was a captain originally. Um, okay. Now 97 years old. It was Norman Lear who created the Jefferson, Sanford and Son, Good Times, and One Day at a Time.
Did he do All in the Family?
He did All in the Family. I
All
did not
right.
list that though.
Oh, okay. That would give it away.
That would have given it away. I wasn't going to say the Jeffersons.
Aristophanes. Good job. I think a few people got that.
Everybody knows Aristophanes wrote a play called The Bird.
Then he goes, and then he does that. Oscar gives him the clue. Aristophanes. He goes, ridiculous.
Ridiculous. Okay, going on. I don't even remember where we are. Okay, the Mary Tyler Moore Show. What were the call letters? Does anybody have it? Call letters on Mary Tyler Moore. Put them in.
That's a tough one.
It is a tough
I
one.
do. I do like the. I never watched Mary Tyler Moore, but I like the song.
Yes.
That's a great song. The
Who could turn the world on with a
Yeah, that's a
smile?
good song. That was a good song. Let me read some of the banter here. Barbara Eden, best belly button. Yeah, probably. Uh,
You don't see her belly button.
yeah, Mr. Furley. That's Three's Company, right?
WJM. That
Good
is correct.
job. Good job, Catherine. Man, for a young person, you guys, you're she's.
Well, she's with
Oh, okay.
her mom and dad. Okay, what was the name of the cab company on the show Taxi? If anybody wants to type it in, go ahead, type it in.
Is it
But I'm
away?
gonna give it. Well, they're probably typing it already right now, so by the time they get it, it'll be the Sunshine Cab Company was the answer.
And we were talking like, who's your favorite character from Taxi? Is it Jim or is it
Louis.
or Louis De Palma? Remember when Jim? I can't get enough of Jim when he's playing the piano
Yes.
at his father's house. He goes, well, "I must have had
I must have
the piano.
lesson.
Must have had
He's like a
piano
concert
lessons."
pianist.
All right, there we go. Sunshine Cab. Joanne is not. You're dominating. I'm curious what everyone's
Did I
got.
skip one?
I don't know.
The Happy Days one. Did
Oh
I do
yeah,
that?
you didn't do that one.
Okay, Happy Days. It was the song was called Rock Around the Clock. That was the song that was yes, I did skip that one. It was Rock Around the Clock was the song in the first two seasons of Happy Days. Bill Haley in the
And
comments.
then they switched to what's that?
Just the song Happy Days.
Okay.
Hello, sunshine, goodbye. Okay. The 1980-87 TV series that starred a cartoonist named Henry Rush and a hand puppet called Cosmic Cow. It was a show called Too Close for Comfort. Okay.
Monroe.
Monroe. Ted Knight was played Henry Rush, and he was a cartoonist, and he used to talk with a hand puppet, I guess for inspiration or
Yeah.
something like that. Um, what movie series was based on the short-lived 1982 sitcom called Police Squad? And if anybody remembers, there were movies called The Naked Gun, and the first one it says from the files of Police Squad. So that was the answer. The Naked Gun movies, which is always Ron's
My
favorite.
favorites of all time. There was one I was actually watching The Naked Gun today, and there was like one scene where he's like climbing up the ladder, and he's looking up, and
Nice beaver.
he goes, "Nice beaver," and she goes, "Oh yeah, I just stuffed it," and gives him
It was a
a
stuffed
stuffed
beaver.
beaver.
Yeah, I still
Monroe
like
Calcayo got it.
my favorite is still the stabbing the guys in togas, stabbing.
Yeah. What was the quote?
She says like, I don't want another incident that like we had in the park last summer, and he goes, "Hey, look, when I see uh, 8 weirdos dressed in togas stabbing a guy in broad daylight, I shoot the bastards. That's my policy." And she goes, "That those were actors. That was a theater,
Julius
park theater
Caesar.
of Julius Caesar." Okay, moving on. Um, oh, the show's final episode was entitled "Goodbye, Farewell, Amen." It was MASH.
Hey Jim, did you get this? We threw a mash one in for you. You probably did
I think Jim's like asleep or on his phone right now. Jim, are you there? Oh, there he is.
Here we
Help
go.
OJ find the real killer. You know he's paying attention. Okay. Um, the TV show was a reversal of the generation gap of former hippie parents raising conservative children in the 80s. What was the show, Ron?
Family ties.
Family Ties with Michael J. Fox as Alex P. Keaton.
That guy, the guy who played Nick. Remember the guy who
Yes.
played Nick?
Hey.
He actually played in the King of Queens.
Did he?
Yeah, he was his neighbor, like one of his friends.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he doesn't look at all like he does at the show. But
I watched that. I never noticed that, but
yeah,
I don't watch all of them, but I've seen it. Um, let's see. What TV show? Oh, I just did that one. Okay. What city and state do the Golden Girls take place in? And it's Miami, Florida. Miami, Florida. Who sang the theme song to Married with Children? The song was called Love and Marriage, and the answer is Frank Sinatra. And A Different World was a college set spinoff of what long running sitcom? And interested to see if anybody knows this one.
Tom Hanks' debut as Uncle Ned, the
He did. He
alcoholic.
played the alcoholic Uncle Ned
Yeah,
in 2 episodes.
that's a good one, Scott. You love the theme. Gino liked the theme song from Family Ties. I didn't really care
As
for that
long as
that
we
much.
got each other.
Yeah, it's kind of corny.
It's all right. It's a little corny, but
Gino,
it's a good one.
I don't have
It
your
was Cosby, Gene. You're right.
I don't have your
And
music
Carol got
taste.
it also. Cosby was the show that A Different World was spun off of. Okay. What was the last name of the wealthy family that Will Smith goes to live with in California on The Fresh Prince of Bel Air? And the answer, and there is a little bit of a Lisa Bonet wasn't that hot, I didn't think she was that hot. The little bit of a clue is it's a wealthy family and their last name is Banks. So Gino, I threw in a little bit of a clue there, but the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air goes to live with the Banks family. Okay.
Stacy, it took you 55 minutes to figure out how to go into the chat room.
Just in time for next week.
A rocket science.
Okay. On two separate episodes of Seinfeld, what two words were used to describe actress Terry Hatcher's breasts?
And the hint here is anyone in EBBL, Jim Logan describes Jessica's breasts the exact same way.
They're real and they're spectacular. Real and spectacular are the correct answers on that.
And who
one.
played that character? Is that in the thing?
Well, Terry Hatcher.
Oh, Terry Hatcher.
Yeah, but who says it in the last episode of Seinfeld?
I think the guy, the OJ.
Yes, the lawyer,
Jackie Childs. Yeah. We could do a whole Seinfeld
We
trivia,
could do a whole Seinfeld one. I just don't know if everybody in. There's Jessica. Okay. And they are let's say Frasier's catchphrase. Anybody know it? I guess I just say it because it'll take them a while to say it. I'm listening was Frasier's catchphrase when he was on the air with the caller. Insomnia Cafe and Six of One were two possible titles of the show Friends. Okay? Insomnia Cafe and Six of One were possible titles of the show Friends before they settled on Friends. And then this show used the theme song 5 O'Clock World and Cleveland Rocks as the theme song during its 9-year run. Okay, so they had two theme songs. One was 5 O'Clock World, which was a hit song back in the 60s for a band called the Vogues, I believe. Frank, Tom, one of you guys should be able to let me know that. And then Cleveland Rocks. I don't know if that was made for the show or not, but anyway, it was... the show was The Drew Carey Show. And now we're in the 2000s. The two 80s actors, movie actors, that were the original two in Two and a Half Men. Doesn't count Ashton Kutcher, who took over when Charlie Sheen was kicked off. But Charlie Sheen and John Cryer were the two characters. Who played Miley Cyrus's father on Disney's Hannah Montana? And it is her father, Billy Ray Cyrus, played it. Seinfeld, New Adventures of Old Christine, or Veep? Which one won the most awards? It's Veep. Okay, the TV show. It's a current TV show. There was a show called The Goldbergs back in the 50s, but I'm not talking about that one. I'm talking about the current 2000. It's on right now on ABC. Show The Goldbergs takes place in Philly, and the decade was the 1950s. I'm sorry, the 1980s. The 1980s was the decade for the current Goldbergs. Who's the star of Boston Legal and The Blacklist, who played Robert California on season 8 of The Office?
And he's hilarious in this. Absolutely hilarious. It's a shame he was only in one episode.
Does anybody know who it is? Kat, I'm counting on you to have this one.
That's a tough one.
It's James Spader.
I would think your niece would have gotten that.
She knew it.
Good job.
I don't know if my niece knows who James Spader is. So.
Yeah, he was phenomenal. I thought he was funnier than
Steve
Carell. I actually didn't like Steve Carell. I thought he was kind of annoying. James Spader, good job. Lizard King, excellent.
Okay.
Last one.
Yes, it is. The Big Bang Theory had a spin-off. It was a prequel. And what was the character's name that was spun off? Well, the spin-off is called Young Sheldon. So the character was Sheldon.
All right.
Oh, and Catherine said he's the worst character on the
Yeah,
whole series.
Ralph Macchio's wrong. So everyone in who, how many did you guys get right? Put into the
We want
chat
to see who
box.
got the most right. I'm
I,
I'm
I
I'm betting Tom's Tough Trivia
Tom's trying. I
or
had
Gene. I could be
I
a
had
tie there.
I had 21 just to give us a balance. But like I said, next week
Sheldon is correct. It was Sheldon Cooper from Young
next week
Sheldon.
we're gonna do we'll do movie
Movie quotes.
quotes. And this will be we're not going to do we'll do mostly classic movies that people say. Gene 21, so we tied. Anyone beat 21? Sampson
24 from
24.
Greg.
Someone's got to beat Greg Sampson because Greg has won the last 2 weeks. 26, Joanne.
And Jim, nobody wishes they were at the Ocean Bay Diner.
Tom's Tough Trivia got 30 out of 32. We kind of figured that was, but I'm not even counting Tom. That's like a professional trivia
That's
guy.
like a
You
professional
know,
trivia player.
13 right. That's not bad. You know, you missed 3, Harris. That's good. So you got like 29.
Well, you came on late, Grace, but you can always watch it at a later time. It's on my Facebook page. It's on Ron's Facebook page.
So we're coming here close to an hour. So I'm going to tell everyone give Frank Glaz his comments right out there, friend request, if you want to participate in music trivia tomorrow. He plays some clips. You have to name the song. It's almost like a name that
24
tune.
Joanne got.
Name the group, and then he has a question. It's fun. Again, next week we'll do movie quotes, and I hope everyone had fun. Hopefully, we're not doing this too long.
Catherine got 25 right.
Tom is number one. You're 100% right, Frank. But most important, I hope everyone stays healthy, and hope everyone had a good time. And we appreciate you guys coming, and we appreciate you guys participating.
And Catherine gave you a little bit of a burn right there. She said, "We like the questions this week."
You like the questions? Oh yeah. Well, I didn't want to do baseball trivia last
It was
week.
my idea.
It was Ed's idea. I actually said a lot of people who don't watch baseball would not appreciate it. So we're gonna stick to what the masses like. Movies. We'll stick to the pop culture.
And once again, everybody go on to Frank Todd Listeners Facebook page. Follow the page. Go on and play music trivia tomorrow. It's a name that tune thing. It's a lot of fun.
And guess what? It's beautiful out, no wind.
We're going for a walk
We're
in
gonna
about
go
five
for a walk.
minutes.
We'll probably, cops will bust us. But thanks, guys. Have a great week, and look forward to seeing you next Friday. Bye.
I think you
Hold
did
on.
okay.
Yeah.